see what I got.
Headphone on for me. Okay. Do a sound check it. Make sure your mic. Now you gotta speak up into these mics.
Okay.
You know how this go. I can hear you loud and clear, Sean.
Sounding good.
Yep.
Yeah. Two. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How that sound?
All right.
I do talk loud too, so don't let me peek, because I will talk loud.
That's fine, man.
2.
Give me a countdown, Sean. 5, 3, 2, 1, and then we'll go, man. You are listening to the Financial Promise 30 Minutes of Power with Jason Fields. And today I told you all I'd be having a special guest, a good friend of mine, Martinez White, DJ, UW-Madison grad, financial advisor, investment advisor. So, I'm very, you guys know I'm biased and passionate towards individuals who deal with money. And so just wanted to talk to him and bring you all, a good friend who in Milwaukee and Wisconsin, and I think all of you know, one of my passions is making sure we bring what I call the new hotnesses, the new, well, I don't want to say new, because a lot of these individuals have been doing things for a long time in the community, in Milwaukee, Madison, and all over. And so what I want to do and what I love to do is make sure you all know that in spite of all the things that happen, we have great leaders, business people, from the young to the middle age to more older, more experienced individuals who are doing things in this community who a lot of times we don't get a chance to see. And so me and Martinez, I think we met, when I was first elected, long time ago, it seems like. And so now I've had the opportunity to watch him just grow and blossom into just a phenomenal brother, man. Phenomenal. I don't want to say young man, but he's more like a little brother, but just a phenomenal gentleman that has garnered under his belt. This is the first book.
Yes, it's the first book.
And so let's get into it and tell the audience, for the millions upon millions of our listeners
that's tuned in.
And
right.
all the Facebook followers. Give us a little bit about you, and then I'm going to go in because I got a lot of questions for you, man.
Okay, so thank you for having me. I appreciate this, Brother Fields. I'm excited to be here. The title of the book is Think Like a DJ, subtitle 7 Steps to Spin Poverty into Prosperity. And it's my personal story wrapped up in the book. And I talk about my story from poverty to prosperity, which I didn't know I was living in poverty at the time. Mm-hmm. I was growing up on 15th and Keith. My mom got 6 kids. She got 5 boys and my sister. And was raising us the best that she could possibly could. I had brothers in the community like yourself, like Kirk Bickham. People may know brothers like that in the community that I looked up to. Keith Murphy, who used to be a radio personality on 1290 WMCS. A good friend of mine who I interned with. Other guys that helped me, see myself so I could be myself. Okay. So I emerged from an impoverished scenario. I went to MPS my whole life. I graduated from Juneau High School. And I went to college at 16 years old. I actually was supposed to go to King High School, but I went to high school so early. I went to high school at 12.
Really?
So King was like, "No, bro, you ain't coming over here." So I went to Juneau, was a little bit smaller, and I became class president, student council president, and then I tried to help to keep the school open the year it got closed. Okay. So my life is a story of advances and retreats, and learning how to keep your turntable spinning keep that record spinning on your turntable of life.
For sake of how old are you, Martinez?
I just turned 31, August 14th, the day the book came out.
And so, people still say you're a baby, because I'm 46 and they still like, you still a baby. But I want a couple of things I want to ask you. Number one, why did you choose the financial industry to get into? Because I'll be honest, I didn't see that coming when me and you met. I knew you were doing a lot of things, the entertainment stuff, the musical. I knew you were a tech savvy guy. I didn't see, hey, investment advisor coming. Why did you choose that one?
Yeah, it really chose me. So after I had my 4-year-old son, my boy Harlem, I wanted to have more time for him. So I wanted to be able to, have some type of lifestyle design. So I was working in an environment where I was working in the sales environment. My degree is in communications. I love people. I'm driven by people and results. So I was able to help people find creative solutions in the work that I was doing and working in the telecommunications industry. So I kind of moved from that kind of sales conversation and learning, building rapport with people into a banking environment. And from banking, I graduated from just a financial specialist into an investment advisor. I wanted to graduate and have more impact. I wanted to do more than just, savings and checking accounts. So I wanted banker's hours so I could have time for my baby.
Right.
But I wanted the ascendance and the possibility of growing into a new economic class and not having an income ceiling. And the more I learn, I want to be able to, just like compound interest, grow over time. I want compound intelligence to pay me dividend. So I want to be able to make less mistakes over time and make more income.
Were these things you learned in school, or was this after you got out, something triggered you to say, you know what, this makes sense?
Yep. So I had a good mentor, Bob Wynn, who is, Bob, Asset Builders of America, an amazing brother who's been mentoring me for about 15 years. So this is what I mean when I talk about in the book about feeling the beat, about creating a lifestyle around like-minded individuals. So when you feel the beat is chapter 3 in the book, but we can dive into that later. But that's what I did with Bob. That's how I got into finance. Bob introduced it to me. He was in my dream circle. He was someone that I networked with,
right,
who believed in me, who saw skills and talents and gifts and abilities in me that I didn't necessarily see in myself. And I meshed that with my own vision for my own life, and it came out to be what it is now. But music is just like money. You need to get your baseline, your midline, and your top line tweaked and EQ'd. You need to, make sure that you tweak your highs and lows so that you can get your life to dance for you and get your music to, move in the direction that you want it to, harmoniously and melodically. All
right. So when I saw the book, first off, let's talk about where people get it. Where can they buy the book?
Yep, so it's on my website, martinezwhite.com, Martinez, White, M like money, White like the White House. Go on and grab the book. Now, we on Amazon for credibility. Now, anybody out there say I'm a monkey or a gorilla, at least I'm on Amazon.
So,
some folks out there that got opinions about us as men of color. We on Amazon. So. MartinezWhite.com.
Now, so when you first started, what was the reason for the book? I know it's your life story, but why did you write it?
Yep. So I wrote the book because I was struggling with a way to respond. It's a really good question. I was struggling with a way to respond to what happened to George Floyd and what's happening in our community. And what I did was I talked to a couple mentors, folks that I really look up to, seasoned gentlemen that I admire. And I asked them, and brothers in my fraternity, my peers, and I asked them, what can I do? Because I'm struggling with how to respond to this.
Okay.
I'm a creative person. I love to be able to express myself. And as a creative person that, spins records 10 times a month. I was, doing an event where I was getting about 300 people once a month, and we were about to graduate to that event twice a month because people were demanding it. I had that creative influx, and as a creative person, you understand that once you give that energy to the world, you have to replenish that. You have to pour back into yourself. You have to fill your well again. So this was that book for me because I wanted to know, how do I give to people but symbiotically create for myself an opportunity for me and my son? So my book is my story, but your story is wrapped up in the book. You get a chance to write your dream statement, your 7 gifts, skills, abilities, talents, attitudes, the things that are important to you, so we can graduate you from a space of lack and a space of scarcity to, abundance and overflow.
One of the things that I looked at when I was perusing the book and was reading some of the chapters and some of the statements, and it's a workbook. You have some things that make people, they can write out, they can work on this stuff. And what I've always found interesting is I like books like that, particularly where it's a mindset. And I love the fact that I'm curious about the title though. Because it's a catchy title. Think like a DJ.
What does that mean to you?
Yeah. For those of us who don't know, what is that? What does it mean?
Yeah. So thinking like a DJ is a philosophy of success. It's a blueprint of how do you graduate your mindset to another dimension. So everything starts in the mind. So I read about 2 or 3 books a month. And one of the books that I read that really impacted me that I recommend in this book, in the 7 recommended reads, is called Think and Grow Rich.
Yep.
Think and Grow Rich. Napoleon Hill. Then there's Think and Grow Rich. There's Tagger, A Black Choice. Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice by Dr. Dennis Kimbro.
Yep.
And he talked about, in Dr. Dennis Kimbro, in his book, he talks about how each person, and I write about this in mine, each person has about $85 billion worth of kinetic energy in the atomic molecules in atomic in the basis of who they are as a person. So like you as a person, your body is enough to operate 11 million kilowatts of energy per pound, and that can actually operate a city and run a city for a whole week, or maybe even a small country. So when I learned that, I'm like, I got stuff inside of me that I don't know.
Right.
I got $85 billion worth of energy in me that I don't necessarily know that's in me, so how do I get it out? So thinking like a DJ is the same thing that I post. It's what I post to the reader. How do you get that out of yourself? How do you extract that greatness from yourself? How do you graduate to a new dimension? It all starts in the mind. How do you train your mind to where you create a morning routine, where you're able to write your vision, you have a dream statement? See, I was doing all of this back in the hood on 15th and Keith.
Right.
I didn't know.
Right.
Until I got around the books, and I got around Afro-American studies, and I went to the University of Wisconsin-Madison as a 16-year-old kid. I didn't know I was manifesting my destiny. I didn't know the language for that. I didn't know about the law of attraction. I had never read The Secret by Rhonda Byrne.
Do you think that's something people can teach, or do you think it's something that just comes to you?
I think black people inherently have the skill set and the creative influx to manifest their destiny. I think that moms, 6 kids, single mom, we ain't never went hungry. How did that happen?
Right.
Creativity, creating something from nothing, manifesting the destiny, having a vision and actually making it happen. All of us have natural skills, talents, abilities, and gifts. Some kids out there might be good at gaming. You might be good at doing hair, nails, things of that sort. How do you take those gifts and skills? How do you take those 7 things and align those with monetization so you have 7 streams of income like 90% of millionaires? Because nobody coming to save us but us.
Why do you think most people, or a lot of people, black or white, whatever, don't get that? And that it's a few that do. I mean, what was it for? I mean, what I'm trying to, because you and I, we talked about these things. We're cut from that cloth where you understand these things because it was exposed to you. You and I know the same people. You and I have been preaching the same stuff. Why do you think some people get it, some people don't?
I think that they ain't got the book yet. Think like a DJ, 7 steps to spin your poverty into prosperity. You got to get the book.
I love that. I love that.
They waiting on me to do my part. See, I talk about that in the book.
Good. That's good.
I talk about that in the book. Your dream circle is comprised of, perhaps, just maybe, God already got this predestined.
Okay.
Maybe I was already planning to meet you today.
Right.
On this day at this particular time. Maybe it was already destined to be in the same fraternity. Maybe it was predestined that I met you. I came to your office when you was working in the senator seat.
Right.
In the representative seat. So maybe that was already predestined so I can meet you here today to talk about my book. Mm-hmm. So I think that our dream circle is already crafted for us. We have to figure out who else we want to align with our vision as we live our life. So some of us as black folks, like I was saying earlier, we automatically have the creative abilities to create something from nothing. We do that every day. So if we can do anything, what do we want to do? If you can be anything, what do you really want to be?
Right.
If you can manifest any desire, what do you really desire? We don't ask ourselves those early questions, those preemptive strikes. And then we get into the mix of life and the music ain't blending. Mm-hmm. The rhythm is off. People ain't dancing. Nobody filled the dance floor. We wasn't able to keep spinning hits. We don't feel the beat. We don't ride the wave. And we never get a chance to rock our life party. And then at the end of our life, we got a pity party. Mm-hmm. And then we looking around asking others to, give us a hand up or a handout or something. When we can really take our own bootstraps and pull ourselves up. That's what we got to do right now. It's COVID-19. Right. That's what pushed this book out of me. How do I help myself and my people? How do I help us envision a new reality? That's why the book is $40. The $40 mark, that price mark is just not numbers. That number represents the last 400 years that black folks been in this country by force, and the next 4,000 that we're going to recreate our new existence like the Pyramid of Giza. We want to create a new existence. It's going to be up to us. How do you manifest that? It comes from a place. All ideas come from something else. Right. Every candlelight, every light bulb was once candlelight. It took the man, 10,000 times to get that? So we have that as black people. We naturally get that. We create something from nothing. We're great at making music. Look at all of the culture, the American culture. Jazz music is America's only original music created by black musicians. Look at hip-hop music. Look at culture. Look at fashion. All of the things that we lead in. Look at education. We got a black woman running for vice president in the White House. We had a black president before. So if we already have these abilities, we don't tap into it because we don't have a language for it, because I didn't have a language for it. But once I learned it, I shared it, and I shared it in my book.
One of the things that jumped out at me was the quote, or you mentioned, you make the statement, God is my boss. Mm-hmm. What is that? I mean, what does that entail?
Yeah, so God is basically, so in the book I talk about how we have a vision for our life. We have a way that we want to manifest our life. Perhaps there's some predestined agenda for us. We have to discover that agenda. That's the fantastic voyage. Right. That's the lakeside ship that we on. We all on this arc of success. We on this journey. That time is a manifestation of what it is that's really what's really inside of you. But you don't get a chance to make that vision by yourself. Your ultimate calculated destiny is a partnership between you and God. Right. So just as like I hire or somebody hires me as a DJ, I'm coming in to spin records for them. I just can't come in playing whatever I want to play. You all been to a party. You've been to a party where the DJ sound like he's playing for himself.
Right.
He ain't gigging for the people that that hired him or the clients that's in front of him. He's not listening to the audience, things of that sort. That's what we do in life. We get down the road and then we look back and say, "Man, I wasted 10 years of of a pity party. Or I wasted 10 years of not having a successful celebration that I desired because I didn't go in the right direction." So then we call back. We call up his line again because Jesus, he stay on the main line. He goes, "You got to tell him what you want." You tell him what you want, then he gets you repositioned, and then you get back towards where you in the right direction. Perhaps if you start out with partnering with God, just like a client hires me as a DJ, you the DJ, your life is the party, and God is your boss. God is the person that hired you. You partner with him to figure out what your ultimate end goal and what the party's supposed to look like, because it's not just your vision. You're not here just for you alone.
I'm glad you said that, because a lot of times when I'm teaching or I'm in classes, I use the same narrative. And I say there's three places you can be with God. You can be behind him. There's three bad places. The worst place is to be in front of him, because that means you out there doing stuff.
You ain't got no business.
You doing everything on your own. You're not plugged in. The second to worst place is behind him. At the very least, you behind him, meaning you can still follow and see him. But the ultimate place where I believe, and you tap into that innovation, that creativity, it's a partnership.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of folks have not looked at their lives as a partnership.
Mm-mm.
Yes, God is the boss, but when you side by side, God, books come out. You know what I mean? When you side by side, that potential innovation come out. Looking at looking at youth today, right? I mean, you closer in age than I am. What do you want to give them, man? I mean, what do you say to young brothers coming from you? You've been through it, you've seen it. What do you say, man, to get them on that path? I mean, you and I both, we've written books, we do this stuff because we've understood it's not just about us. But what do you want to see for this younger generation coming up after you? Because they watching you. I
just want them to win. J-Rock, one of the homies on TDE over there with Kendrick and them, he got a song called "Win," and that's the whole hook. Win, 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 win. Mm-hmm. That's what I want people to do, is win. I want young people to really manifest our future, because we got to save ourselves. It will hurt me and it will pain me to see a generation lost as the undercurrent, as the permanent working class. Mm-hmm. A generation of black and brown people becoming the permanent generators and consumers. Generators of work and sweat equity in the marketplace, and then consumers. They're not producers, they're not owners. I want you to own your story. I want you to own your destiny. I want you to be able to take your vision and make it happen and monetize your story and monetize what it is that's going to pay you dividends in the future and have intergenerational impact. I want what you want for you, but I really want what God wants for you. Because inherently you do want success. Inherently, that it's the dream anxiety that keep us from moving forward. We scared of the possibility of it coming true, or what people might say about us. Napoleon Hill writes about that. Mm-hmm. Criticism being one of the 6 ghosts of fear, one of the things that hold us back. We have to fight through that by, we already being forced to fight through it by force, but we also have to choose our destiny. What do you really want? That's what I want for young people, is to win. I want them to win and have the lifestyle that they desire most, and be able to live an abundant lifestyle and a life of peace of mind, clarity of vision, and be able to self-actualize and live out their most abundant destiny. That's what I want people to do. That's what I would love for, and that's what they want too. But I don't think that they know that they already have the tools and the skill set to make that happen. Right. I think that a lot of young people believe in lack, or they believe in scarcity. They don't know that abundance is theirs to keep.
The natural law of things, that it's more than enough for all of us.
It's more than enough. For you, your cup could run it over. It could overflow. You can have enough to where you can actually be the lender and not the borrower.
Right, which is a biblical principle.
That's what I'm saying. And we learned those things growing up. We heard that from grandma. We heard that from aunties and moms. And we heard that some of the younger folks under me, like my younger brothers and them, they may have heard it residually, but they heard it and they know it inherently when they look on the internet and they see a star, a kid that grew from nothing to something because he was able to manifest himself. He was able to take the 85 billion and extract some of it, like LeBron James.
And you saying anybody can do that?
Anybody can do it.
Anybody can do it.
We all inherently born with that gift.
Let me go through.
Talk about something.
The 7 steps, because I want to.
That blue look good, baby.
The 7 steps, man. I want to touch on these in our time. Mm-hmm. The first chapter is pick a tempo.
Yep.
So
pick a tempo.
Break that down.
Yeah, so anytime I go to an event, anytime I have a client who hired me, I must first already envision what the best case scenario look like. So it's about visualization. Before I get to the gig, I already have a vision for what I want the event to go like, how I want it to flow, because I listen to my client. I listen to what they say. I'm hearing them. I consult with them early enough. I create a vision. I picturize it. So in the book, when you're picking a tempo in life, how that translates to life is that you got to have a vision for your life. You got to be able to say, this is what I want on the back end. If you want to go to a destination, and the root word of destination is destiny. If you got a destiny or a destination, you going to LA, you're going to plan a trip.
So you're projecting it, and then you're attracting what you're projecting, what you think is you manifest it.
You manifest it, but you got to fight off the negativity. So when I was on 15th and Keith, and I was growing up on 39th and Lloyd and 33rd and Lloyd, and I went to public school all my life, so I was a smart kid. So how do I fight that energy? When I went to high school at 12 years old, I'm like, bro, I got to get something to latch on to keep that. One of the things was my dream statement: dreams are made to be achieved. Okay. So I have that tattooed over my heart. That's a statement I can say to myself. It's just a mantra that can uproot me from negativity. When I pick a tempo, when I decide where I want to go, and then all of that force, that resistance comes. How do I fight resistance? With persistence, with a dream statement. So that's what you do when you pick a tempo. Write a dream statement, write your vision, create a vision board, and then start to create an itinerary with with your end goal in mind. Where do you want to land this plane safely?
Okay. We got about 4 minutes, and I want to go through the rest of these really quickly. The second chapter, drop your first record.
Yep. Drop your first record. It's just basically about getting in the game. Yep. When you start a new job or a new opportunity, or kids that didn't get a chance to graduate from high school or walk across the stage, they going to college in the fall, you got to drop your first record.
I mean, I love the way you tied it into the stuff that you do. I do. I love the way you tied it into chapter 3, Feel the Beat. I mean, it's a creative way of doing that. No, it really is, man. I mean, I love the way you did it, because I would have never thought of it. I mean, that's
13 years though. That's 13 years of DJing. And 2 years of writing.
I'm a competitive person, so I'm sitting up here like, bro got it in. I should have thought of this. So, that's where my head at. I should have thought of this. So
I'm a genius too. I should have thought of this one.
Right.
I've been too busy to think of this.
Chapter 4, Ride the Wave.
Yep. So, feeling the beat is about connecting with like-minded individuals. When you DJing,
we could do a whole show on that.
You got to connect with people. When you DJing the first 15 to 30 minutes of your set, you got to warm the room up to you, and vice versa. Oof. So that's how you do when you're going into a room for a new dimension or a new job. 30 days, 90 days, 2 years, 5-year probation. That's feeling the beat, connecting with like-minded individuals in that space. Okay. Yep. So then you riding the wave. When you drop, after you done already started dropping your first record and you feeling the beat, you just got to kind of cruise. Okay. Just ride the wave for a while before you jump into keep on spinning hits.
Chapter 5, keep spinning hits.
You got to continue to spin hits. Continue to spin hits is about residual excellence. How do you constantly show up to work, show up to an opportunity, and continue to perform at a standard of excellence? That's about creating a morning routine. You got to get into the wavelength of what that means to be that person. So you write your dream statement, but then you start writing your dream pages every night. I asked you got 15 minutes to write your vision out so you can actually commit to it early in the next morning every day. So you say your dream statement 7 times, and you write your 15-minute vision out as a free write every night.
People underestimate the value of writing it down.
You got to write it, but that's the part that keeps spinning hits. How do you get it to automatically keep flowing? It has to be a part of your muscle memory.
Chapter 6, keep the dance floor. Feel the dance floor.
Yep, feel the dance floor. So feeling the dance floor is FEEL, because you do feel the dance floor, FILL. You do get people on the dance floor about fearlessly networking, and you do get folks a part of your vision in your dream circle. You do draw those folks near, but you as the DJ, because your life is the party. If your life was a party, how many will RSVP, right? You only live once. Will your one party become a party of one? It can't be a party of one. You got to get into the space where you get people to join your dance floor, and the way that you do that is you keep on spinning hits and you keep building rapport with them, and over time they start to join your dream circle.
And then chapter 7, rock the party.
Rock the party is about intergenerational legacy. So once you get into intergenerational wealth, you rocking your party. It ain't just about you. The last part of the book is about repeating rotation. Right. And it's a quote in there from U.S. Congressman, the late John Lewis. That's right. And he talks about the next generation. So you're not just, your party alone. One party enough ain't going to do it. I done DJ thousands of parties over 13 years. I done DJ in front of thousands of people. One party not going to create your success. You got to create intergenerational legacy, and your life is just one party that you want to rock.
And as we close with fraternity brother, love him to death, younger brother, fantastic mind, investment advisor, where can they buy the book and where can they reach you? Because I'd imagine you're going to get some calls after this, brother.
Yeah, so what we got to do is, this is the mission, this is the initiative. It's one book, one kid, one pen, one dream. So every book that somebody purchased, we gift one book to a kid in poverty. We want to fight, illiteracy out there. Right. So we're going to help with that. So you can join my website. You can join my vision by going to martinezwhite.com, MARTINEZ white.com. I'm on IG at DJ M White, M like money, white like the White House. We trying to get these books out. My goal is to impact 100 lives, and I talk about that in my book. Each book that we actually get, to purchase, we get somebody to buy, we actually give to another kid. So that's something that we're doing and that we give it to the kids because I was a kid that didn't know how to read that well. I didn't like to read because I didn't know how that well, and I wrote my first book. So I want to give that back to other kids who need to learn what it means to write out their vision and live it out and rock their life party.
Well, I want to thank you all. You've been listening to the Financial Promise 30 Minutes of Power with my wonderful guests. Love you very much. You all go out, grab the book, Think Like a DJ. You know how to reach them. And I'll be posting this on www.thefinancialpromise.com just in case you missed it. Check out the book. I'll post a link there as well if you want to bring DJ Martinez White to your audience. Thank you, brother. Love you all. See you next week.
Perfect. Hey, you going in the book?
You
gotta take some
I'm
pictures
have to
too,
have
bro.
you back, man, because that's the one thing about doing a 30-minute show. You start seeing stuff that